Dear viewers, a former BJP spokesperson has just been recommended to become a judge in the Bombay High Court. Yes, a political spokesperson. Her name is Advocate Aarti Arun Sathe, and the move has triggered an outrage. Hello, I'm Tejas and you're watching Honest Take on Lokmat Times. In today's episode, we are asking the real question. Should judges ever be politically appointed? But before we move ahead, please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't already and press the bell icon to never miss an update. So let's break this down. On July 28, 2025, the Supreme Court Collegium recommended Advocate Aarti Arun Sathe, Ajit Kadehankar and Sushil Ghodeswar for appointment as judges to the Bombay High Court. But Sathe's name lit the match because Aarti Sathe was the official spokesperson of the BJP's Maharashtra unit as recently as 2023. She resigned in January 2024, a year and a half before this appointment. That's the timeline. Now, the BJP says, what's the problem? She resigned. The opposition says, a year and a half isn't a clean slate. Rohit Pawar from the NCP called it a blow to democracy. Congress termed it mockery of the constitution. They are asking the question many of us are thinking. How can someone who defended political decisions on primetime news be trusted to judge those very decisions from the bench? Now let's be clear, this isn't a question about Advocate Aarti Sathe's legal capability. It's about perception, trust and the invisible influence of political loyalty. Here is where it gets interesting. This isn't the first time India's judiciary has seen people walk in straight from the political corridors. Take Justice Baharul Islam, a Congress MP, twice elected to the Rajya Sabha. In 1972, he quit parliament and was immediately appointed as a High Court judge. No prior judicial experience. By 1980, he was in the Supreme Court. And guess what? One of the last judgments before quitting the bench exonerated a Congress chief minister in corruption cases. Weeks later, he contested election again as a Congress candidate. If that's not a political back and forth, what is? Then there is Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer, a CPI leader, former Kerala minister, and one of the most revered judges in India's history. He brought humanity to judgments, but his political past was deep. He moved from active CPI politics to the bench in just a few years. Justice K.S. Hegde, Congress MP, later Speaker of the Lok Sabha under the Janata Party, but in between, Supreme Court judge. Justice Aftab Alam, ex-CPI leader, later with Congress, then appointed judge. Justice F.I. Rebello, former Janata Party MLA, became Bombay High Court judge and later Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court. And our current Chief Justice, B.R. Gavai, he himself acknowledged his family's deep Congress ties. His father was an MP, governor and a lifelong congressman. His brother is still active in Congress politics. These are not fringe cases. These are names of some of the top names in Indian judicial history. Let's be honest, not everyone who once held a political post is automatically corrupt. Some of these judges gave landmark verdicts and earned public respect. But that's not the point here. The issue is this: if justice must not only be done but must also be seen to be done, then how do we explain these revolving door between politics and the bench? Why should someone trust the judiciary to rule against the party they once served? It's not just about bias, it's about public perception, trust, legitimacy, and timing matters. Aarti Sathe left BJP in 2024. That's not decades ago, that's just 19 months ago. Is that enough time for political loyalties to fade away? Now let's talk process. India doesn't have political appointments on paper. Judges are appointed through the Collegium system, a closed-door system where senior judges recommend names. This was supposed to protect judicial independence from political interference, but here is the problem. When someone with recent political links gets through, it raises questions. Was there due diligence? Was there political pressure? Was this appointment just merit-based? And worst of all, why don't we, the public, get to know any of this in advance? The Collegium doesn't publish minutes. It doesn't offer explanations. So even if the process is clean, it looks opaque. And that's where the rot begins, in perception. Let's zoom out. In most democracies, politicians can become judges only after a clear cooling off period. In some countries, it's 5 years. Others mandate public vetting, background checks and confirmation hearings. In India, you can resign from a party and get recommended within the same year. No mandatory gap, no law to prevent it. So we rely on propriety. But here is the thing, propriety doesn't enforce itself. We need hard rules, not just soft ethics. A mandatory cooling off period. If you have held political office or represented a party publicly, you must wait before entering the judiciary. Collegium transparency, let people see why a name was picked or rejected. A public disclosure norm for candidates, not just assets but political affiliations. And above all, courage from judges. Courage to say no to political nominees. Courage to recuse when personal links exist. And the current CJI B.R. Gavai did it. When a case related to Congress leader Rahul Gandhi came to his bench, he recused, saying his family has ties to the Congress. That's honesty, that's integrity. But sadly, not all the judges have it. Dear viewers, this debate is not about advocate Aarti Sathe alone, or about the BJP, or Congress, or the left. It's about the boundary line between justice and politics and how thin it is becoming. We have seen what happens when politicians become judges, and we have seen what happens when judges become politicians. So maybe the real question is this, not whether they can, but whether they should. Because every time a politically connected person gets a judge's chair, the courtroom gets a little quieter, the public trust gets a little weaker, and the constitution gets a little blurrier. That was the honest take with me, Tejas. We will leave the verdict to you, the viewer. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and never stop asking tough questions.